Two of the most gossiped about queens in the love and hip-hop universe, Yandy and Rasheeda, just whipped up chaos no one saw coming. What began as sneaky shade on podcasts and offhand tweets has now exploded into a scandalous public showdown. Yandy didn't just defend herself, she dropped verbal knives so sharp the crowd gasped. Her stunt? Accusing Rasheeda's marriage of hiding skeletons and resurrecting that infamous DNA test fans thought was buried. The internet nearly combusted, timelines catching fire in real time. This wasn't some scripted spat, it was raw, venomous theater, every glare and pause dripping with hostility. Loyalty and family pride were under fire, and fans instantly crowned it the fiercest clash in recent franchise memory. Now the burning question, how much will Rasheeda confess, and how far will Yandy push until the whole thing detonates? Yandy's sly grin said it all, a grin you flash right before pulling out receipts no one's ready for. Years of pent-up rage hung in the silence as her eyes locked on Rasheeda. The air froze. Everyone braced, but this wasn't petty shade, it was an oncoming storm. With her voice icy yet unshakable, Yandy leaned forward and declared Rasheeda had talked long enough. It was her time to drop reality. Rasheeda snapped back instantly, her body raging with gestures, voice booming like she'd been waiting years. She slammed down her line. "You've turned me and Kirk into your soap opera, but your own life is nowhere near as perfect as you parade it to be." Her words cut like steel, dripping equal parts fury and disbelief. Rage boiled over, as if Rasheeda wanted to flip the entire table just to prove her fury, and the spectators couldn't blink for fear of missing history in the making. Fans instantly sensed this wasn't just another spat, but one of the rawest, most unforgettable clashes love and hip-hop had ever staged, their comments flooding in like wildfire. Then with a chilling calm, Yandy leaned forward, eyes narrowing, and dropped a bomb that echoed louder than any scream. "Your own husband had to swab your baby. Remember that." The room went dead silent. Cast members froze mid-breath. Gasps ricocheted across the set, and even the producers looked like they'd seen a ghost. Rasheeda's face drained of color, her shock unraveling into a mix of rage and shame as she barked, "You're lying. I don't owe you or anyone an explanation for my marriage." Her trembling voice betrayed the anger boiling beneath. "What happens in my house stays in my house." But Yandy refused to back off, raising her brows with icy mockery. "So all those podcasts and interviews where you spilled half the truth never happened? Or do you just forget your own words when someone throws them back in your face?" The crowd behind the cameras shifted uncomfortably, realizing this wasn't entertainment anymore. It was raw truth, unfiltered and vicious. Rasheeda's fists clenched tight against the table, her earrings swinging as her head snapped, seething, "You have no idea." "You twist everything, Yandy. That's your whole act," Rasheeda snapped, her voice echoing through the set. "You misrepresent people, then play the victim." Her irritation shook the room, but Yandy didn't flinch. She cut back with an icy calm, her tone low and razor sharp. "No, I'm not twisting words. I only repeat what you already admitted. Maybe it's easier for you to attack me than face the truth inside your own house." The tension spiked, crew members glancing nervously at each other as the argument dug into wounds long left festering. The DNA scandal was just the spark. What really burned was pride, reputation, and the question of who truly ruled the love and hip-hop crown. Bracing herself, Rasheeda leaned hard into the table, her voice slicing like broken glass. "Let's get something clear. I built my marriage. I fought for it. I never ran from the struggles we faced. Can you say the same? Or are you too busy pretending you're the perfect wife while jetting from city to city?" Each word landed like a dagger. Yandy only scoffed, a cruel laugh spilling out. "The perfect wife, please. I never claimed perfection. At least I don't build my brand on deception. You parade your marriage like a trophy, then act shocked when people call out its cracks. That's not strength, Rasheeda, it's denial." Online fans lost it, live comments pouring in like gasoline on fire. "She really said that," shouted one. Another typed, "Messy, but I live for this." Within minutes, social media exploded like wildfire, plastered with memes of Rasheeda's stunned face captioned, "Not the DNA test." The internet couldn't let it go, but Rasheeda wasn't about to let herself become a punchline. Her eyes locked on Yandy, burning like lasers as she lifted her chin high and declared, "You think recycled gossip can break me? Please. I've survived more storms than you can count. People prayed for my downfall, yet I kept my name, my family, and my business intact." I don't owe you or anyone a damn explanation. Yandy smirked knowingly, almost savoring the moment, and whispered with wicked sarcasm, "Funny. You sure talk about me a lot for someone who doesn't care. Got a Google alert for my name or what?" The crowd cracked up nervously, shifting in their seats while Yandy twisted the knife. "Face it, you can't go a day without mentioning me." That was the spark. Rasheeda slammed her palm on the table with a scream, earrings swinging, and shot back, "You're obsessed! Always comparing yourself to me, always trying to drag me down. But Yandy, you'll never measure up. Not in marriage, not in business, not in anything." Suddenly, the defense was gone. Rasheeda was on the attack, tearing into Yandy's entire identity and place in the brand. Gasps erupted as Yandy rose slowly, her chair screeching across the floor, voice rising with fire. "Compare? I don't need to compare. I've already proven myself. I raised my kids, built my empire, and stood by my man through battles most women couldn't survive. When half your storyline is pretending your house isn't crumbling, don't dare come at me." Chaos ripped through the room, cast members scrambling to intervene, their voices drowned out by the storm. Neither woman budged. This wasn't banter, it was war, and every camera zoomed in, immortalizing every glare, every smirk, every tear, and every drop of venom. "Say it to my face right now if you're really that bold," Yandy demanded, her words shaking the room like an earthquake. Rasheeda only smirked, folding her arms and leaning back with a smug calm. "I just did," she shot back smoothly, "and clearly, it's too much for you." The crowd erupted, phones already capturing the one-liner destined to loop endlessly on TikTok. Hashtags splitting the internet into Daesh Team Yandy and Daesh Team Rasheeda as fans picked sides in real time. But Yandy wasn't done. Her voice rose with fire, eyes blazing as she snapped, "You want to call me fake? At least I don't have to pretend my man never embarrassed me in public. At least I don't live with whispers about DNA tests and fatherhood scandals. The people you're fooling, Rasheeda, will never forget the truth." The words made Rasheeda's fists clench white-knuckled on her chair before she stood, heels clicking like warning shots. "Don't you ever talk about my kids!" she snarled, her voice trembling with fury. Gasps rippled through the set. Yandy froze for a beat, but then leaned nose to nose, spitting back, "Then stop dragging my name through the dirt. Stop pretending you're the queen of this franchise when your own house is falling apart." Crew members panicked, trying to intervene, but the storm only intensified. Every insult sharper than the last, voices colliding like thunder. The room became unbearable, a pressure cooker seconds from blowing. Online fans went feral, tweeting, "This is next level, and they've never gone this hard." Whole threads dissected every glare, every gesture, every crack in their voices. This wasn't about scandals or marriages anymore. This was about legacy. Who would be crowned the true queen of love and hip-hop? Neither woman was about to surrender. The rage in their voices, the fire blazing in their eyes, and the sheer chaos swallowing the room were all magnified as cameras zoomed in, catching every twitch, every glare, every tear. This wasn't just reality TV anymore. This was history, raw and unfiltered. The walls seemed to vibrate with the sound of gasps and stunned silence, while lenses spun to capture every dagger of expression. Fans watching from home knew instantly. This was a moment that would be replayed, dissected, and memed for years. Years of bad blood, years of fan debates about who really owned the franchise crown, had finally erupted. Yandy and Rasheeda stood locked in place, eyes locked like enemies in a battlefield. Producers whispered nervously. This was ratings gold, but it was spiraling fast. Cast members tried stepping in, arms out like referees, only to be drowned by the women shouting louder, reclaiming the spotlight with every word. Then Rasheeda's voice sliced through the noise. "You're jealous, Yandy, that's the truth. You hate that I've held it together while you're sinking. Your life is collapsing, yet you keep grinning for the cameras and everyone sees it." She delivered it like a knockout punch. But Yandy only smirked, her calm more dangerous than shouting. "Collapsing?" she whispered like a blade. "At least I don't have to watch my husband's mistakes air out on national TV. At least I never sat on a couch crying while the world laughed." "You call that strength?" "No, Rasheeda, that's humiliation. And you brought it on yourself." The room gasped in unison. Yandy had crossed a line. Some women muttered she went too far. Others murmured she'd just said what everyone else was thinking. Online fans split in real time, some praising her savage honesty, others calling her heartless. With fury burning in her eyes, Rasheeda jabbed a finger toward Yandy's face and snapped, "Don't you ever weaponize my pain. You have no idea what it means to rebuild a marriage, to stand by your man when the world wants him destroyed. That's called loyalty." "Something you clearly don't understand," Rasheeda seethed, but Yandy shoved her hand away and erupted, "Loyalty? Don't even start. Your husband couldn't stay faithful for 5 minutes, so don't preach to me. Stop parading your pain as if it's some badge of honor. That marriage you cling to is your entire brand, and the truth is, you stayed because you had no choice." Deep down, you know it. The room cracked with chaos, gasps echoing so loud they sounded like screams. "Cut the cameras!" a producer yelled, but no one listened. Every lens stayed locked, capturing the meltdown in high definition. Out of nowhere, Rasheeda laughed, a cold, venomous laugh that carried no joy. "You think dragging up old scandals will ruin me? Please, headlines I've already survived won't break me. I'm still here, baby. I endured everything. Can you say the same? Or will your story end the moment your man decides he's done playing house with you?" Her words hit like a gunshot in the dark. For a split second, Yandy froze, eyes narrowed to fire, lips tight with fury. Then she shot back rapid fire. "I'll stand tall even if my man walks away, because I built everything myself. Unlike you, Rasheeda, who built on lies and betrayal. You didn't survive, you settled. And now you're bitter, trying to drag everyone else down with you." Some cast members nodded, others recoiled at the brutality. Online fans typed furiously, "This is too raw, too deep, but I can't stop watching." Just as the dust seemed ready to settle, Yandy struck again, her voice slicing through the air. "Don't forget the blogs. All those receipts, all those stories about your man creeping, they don't vanish. Do you really think people forget? People forget? Screenshots vanish." Yandy scoffed, her voice sharp as glass. "No, Rasheeda. Every scandal sticks forever, and you've been running from yours for years." Rasheeda's jaw dropped, fury flooding her face as she shouted, "You're obsessed with me." "Obsessed? You act like you're above me, but every word out of your mouth is about me. You track my every move. That's not strength, Yandy. That's sick." For the first time, Yandy's voice cracked into a near scream. "No, it's called honesty. I won't sit silent while you slander me in podcasts and interviews. You wanted to talk about me? Fine. Now face me directly because I'm not hiding." The crowd leaned in, breathless, phones raised, as fans online begged for more. Then with unnerving calm, Rasheeda flipped the blade. "You keep harping on my man. Let's talk about yours. How many times has he humiliated you? How many times have we all heard the stories? He won't even be in the same room as you. You hide it better, but you're just as broken as the rest of us." The silence that followed was suffocating. Gasps, murmurs, and wide eyes made it clear the battle had crossed a line. Yandy trembled with rage, stepping closer until her nose nearly brushed Rasheeda's. "Say what you... Least I get respect when I walk in a room. You're a joke." Yandy shot up, her voice rising with fury. "A joke? Look around you, Rasheeda. Look at the cameras. Look at these fans. Look at the headlines already written. No one's talking about your respect. They're talking about me. About us. And that means I win whether you like it or not." For the first time, Rasheeda's confidence faltered, her face flickering with doubt before she lifted her chin again, refusing to break. But the damage was already done. The room dissolved into chaos, security rushing in as the mayhem peaked, and yet every camera kept rolling. Security finally intervened, arms stretched out to hold back the fire. But even as the women were pulled apart, the insults kept flying, shrieks of, "I'll have the last word," echoing across the set. The audience was glued to the chaos, phones up, as clips of the Atlanta verses. New York feud, the infamous "You're a Demon" taunt, and the DNA test bombshell went viral within minutes. Memes flooded timelines, hashtags trended for days, and fans split into rival camps, some hailing Yandy for her refusal to fold, others praising Rasheeda for standing unshaken. What no one doubted was that this clash had just secured its place as one of the most explosive moments in franchise history. The cameras caught every glare as they were dragged to opposite sides, Yandy crossing her arms and muttering through clenched teeth. The truth always comes out. Rasheeda, flicking her hair with defiance, shouted for all to hear, "I'll always be the queen. Remember that." The set fell into stunned silence as cast members whispered in disbelief, unable to tell if what they'd witnessed was reality or a masterclass in unscripted theater. But even after the dust settled, the energy lingered. This wasn't about petty scandals anymore. It was about legacy, power, and who would be remembered as the true face of love and hip-hop. Shock rippled through the franchise. The cast left speechless, and fans hopelessly divided. Yet one truth emerged crystal clear. This battle was just beginning. Old wounds had been ripped open, personal scars laid bare, and what started as shade had mutated into a spectacle that shook the very foundation of the brand. From DNA accusations to marital takedowns, the feud spiraled into depths no one predicted. Some viewers crowned Rasheeda as the warrior who refused to let humiliation define her, while others sided with Yandy, the fearless voice unafraid to weaponize truth. And as replays looped endlessly online, one thing became undeniable. This war was far from finished. For countless fans, this showdown wasn't just another screaming match. It was the night the crown of love and hip-hop got thrown into question. Was this the climax of Yandy and Rasheeda's war, or just the prologue to something even bigger? No one knows if either woman will ever back down, but audiences can't stop dissecting every headline, every clip, every word. And now it's your turn. Whose side are you on? Was Rasheeda right to call Yandy a fraud, or did she cross the line dragging the DNA test back into the spotlight? If this drama left you shaken, drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next scandal to set the love and hip-hop universe on fire. But just when fans thought it couldn't get any hotter, Rasheeda unleashed the dagger destined for meme history. Her voice cut like ice. "Yandy, you'll never be Atlanta. You don't belong here." The room gasped in unison. Yandy smirked, bitterly, eyes flashing, and with a calm that felt lethal whispered, "You're right, I'm not from Atlanta. But everywhere I go, I leave my mark, and you'll never erase it." Social media erupted instantly, fans dubbing it the ultimate mic drop. Yet the storm raged on. Rasheeda jabbed her finger in Yandy's face, sneering, "You just gave people more reasons to laugh at you. At least I walk in respected. You're a joke." Yandy's fury boiled over. "A joke? Look around, Rasheeda. Look at the cameras. Look at the fans. Look at the headlines already written. No one's talking about your respect. They're talking about me. About us. That means I win, whether you like it or not." For the first time, Rasheeda's confidence cracked, her face flickering with doubt before she forced her chin high again. The damage was done. Chaos erupted as security scrambled to separate them. But even as they were dragged apart, the insults still flew. Two voices refusing to be silenced, locked in a battle that fans knew wasn't ending anytime soon. Both women screamed promises into the chaos, vowing this fight wasn't finished and that the final word would be theirs. The audience couldn't look away. Clips of the Atlanta versus New York feud, the infamous "you're a demon" insult, and the DNA test bombshell ripped across social media. Memes flooded timelines, hashtags trended for days, and fans everywhere declared their own winner, some praising Yandy for refusing to fold, others hailing Rasheeda for standing her ground. But one fact was undeniable. This clash had just stamped itself into franchise history as one of the most explosive battles ever caught on camera. The last glares were burned into film as security dragged them apart, Yandy folding her arms and muttering, "The truth always comes out," while Rasheeda, flipping her hair with pride, shouted, "I'll always be the queen, remember that." Both women were led off set in a stunned silence, actors whispering, some shaking their heads, others smirking in disbelief. It was a scene that blurred the line between reality and performance, destined to dominate headlines. Even after the crew tried to cool things down, the electricity lingered. This was no longer about petty scandals or wedding drama. It was about heritage, power, and who would ultimately wear the crown of love and hip-hop. The entire franchise reeled, the cast speechless, fans bitterly divided. Yet one truth was clear. This war had only just begun. Old wounds were ripped open, scars exposed, and both women turned their pain into spectacle, leaving the culture debating every word. From marriage scandals to the DNA reference, viewers replayed clips on loop, trying to decide who really won. Some fans anointed Rasheeda as the unbreakable fighter who refused to let shame define her,